Let's start with a simple multiplication 2 times 10. Now, we know that this equals 20, but let's do it in terms of decimals. Now, we know that the decimal is at the end of the whole number, so the decimal point goes at the end of the 2. If I add some extra zeros there, like this, then the way multiplication by 10 or 100 or 1,000 works is that for every 0 here, I move the decimal point one place that way. Now I've got 1 0 here, so I can cross that off and move this decimal point to there, and that gives me 20 point, and then there's those 2 zeros there, but they're not doing anything anymore, they're just of no value. So we can scrub those off, and since there's no decimal component to the number, this just becomes 20. Let's have a look at a slightly longer one. 7 times 100. Now this is pretty straightforward again. The answer is obviously 700. And looking at it in terms of a decimal, the 7 has the decimal point at the end of it because that's the end of the whole number. And we can put some zeros there. Put a few. For every 0 on the number that we're multiplying by here, the 10, 100 or 1,000, we move the decimal point one place to the right. So I can cross this off and move that one place there. I can cross off the next one and move it another place to there, and what I get is 700 with a decimal point, and then there's 1 0 after that. Now that's again not doing anything, so we can cross that off, and we get 700 with the decimal point at the end, but again that's not doing anything, so we can leave it off. Let's have a look at one more example. So once again, we put the decimal point at the end of the 4, give ourselves some zeros to work with on this side. Doesn't matter how many we put on there, we could put heaps of them on there, they're free. And then for every 0 on the end here that we're multiplying by, we move the decimal point one place. That's 1. That's another there. And that's a third one there. So what we get is 4, 0, 0, 0 with a decimal point. And then there are those extra 4 zeros left over, I suppose, but they're not doing anything, so we can cross those off. Decimal point's now not doing anything because it's the end of the whole number. And we're back to 4,000, which we know is the answer. 4 times 1,000 is obviously 4,000.